I spent 3 nights aboard one of the U.S. Navy's most versatile warships. It's not an aircraft carrier, cruiser, or submarine. It's the San Antonio-class amphibious assault ship, a vessel many may not even know exists. My journey to this beast wasn't by plane or helicopter, but on a hovercraft, diving into the heart of this engineering marvel. The ship's design is mind-blowing, with attention to details you'd never think of. From the amount of force needed to open doors to the slanted handrails throughout the ship, everything serves a purpose, and there's a lot more to discover. Why the ship sometimes puts on a light show, how women on board have improved comfort for everyone, and even why the Navy is downgrading future versions of this class. Let's dive into all that. With a displacement of 25,000 tons, San Antonio-class ships are some of the largest U.S. warships, known as landing platform docks, LPDs. They have a massive flight deck capable of handling 2 MV-22 Ospreys at once, which I had the chance to witness. The ship also stores 319,000 gallons of aircraft fuel, half the volume of an Olympic swimming pool, and has a spacious well deck that can house 2 landing craft air cushions, LCACs, or 1 landing craft utility, LCU. There are vehicle decks with over 38,000 square feet of space for amphibious vehicles. The particular ship I was on holds a special significance, USS New York. Its bow contains 7.5 tons of steel from the rubble of the World Trade Center, making it a floating tribute to the victims of 9/11. Fittingly, the ship was en route to New York City to celebrate Veterans Day. A defining feature of San Antonio-class ships is their stealthy design. On radar, they appear much smaller than they actually are due to their sloped surfaces, particularly the 2 advanced enclosed masts. These giant structures house communications and radar systems, while minimizing the ship's radar cross-section. Every exterior detail, from the slanted handrails to the angled steps, contributes to this stealth profile. Inside, USS New York is like a floating museum, paying homage to the city it's named after. A plaque made from salvaged World Trade Center steel is displayed on board, and other details honor New York's spirit. Along with sister ships USS Arlington and USS Somerset, USS New York is a reminder of resilience and unity. San Antonio-class ships are true Swiss Army knives of the Navy. While they've been involved in unique missions like recovering NASA's Orion spacecraft, their primary task is to transport 800 Marines and their gear to shore. The ship also has 360 sailors who keep everything running smoothly. These LPDs can operate independently or as part of a 3-ship amphibious ready group, and are equipped with 2 RIM 116 rolling airframe missile launchers for defense. Though they lack surface-to-surface missiles, tests in 2017 showed that they could launch HIMARS missiles directly from the flight deck. One morning, I had a close-up look at an MV-22 Osprey. With no cargo, it can transport 24 Marines. Its main advantage is long-range vertical assault and extraction, combining the best features of helicopters and airplanes. Its rotors, with a 38.1-foot diameter, prevent horizontal landings, but an interesting detail is the LED lights on the rotor tips, which improve visibility during night operations, especially important when multiple Ospreys operate simultaneously on deck. The ship's hospital is another impressive feature, with 124 beds, X-ray machines, and 2 operating rooms, essential given the dangerous nature of marine operations. The medical facilities are larger than those on aircraft carriers because of the higher risk of injury in marine missions. As I explored the ship, I noticed the wider passageways leading to the flight deck, allowing Marines to wait in full gear before heading ashore. Every LPD has a unique name for these corridors. On USS New York, the wide passageway is called Broadway, and is decorated with posters from famous shows, complete with Broadway-style lights. One of the highlights of my experience was riding an LCAC. These fast, hovercraft-like vehicles can move quickly from water to land, and their ability to hover is incredible. LCACs don't displace water, so they're technically flying, complete with blinking lights like airplanes. After each mission, LCACs are washed at a station back at the base, where they are rinsed with fresh water to remove salt and sand, both of which can cause problems. This process happens at sea too, thanks to the ship's reverse osmosis system, which not only supplies drinking water but also produces enough to wash vehicles like the LCAC. Operating an LCAC isn't all fun and games. Pilots must carefully navigate the craft into the ship's well deck with only about a foot of clearance on either side. Once inside, the LCAC is secured with chains to prevent it from moving around in rough seas. Everyone I spoke to aboard the USS New York seemed to genuinely love their job. From those on the bridge navigating the ship to those in the engine room deep below sea level, there was a shared sense of pride. One person I met, Richard Othmer, had a unique story. After serving in the Navy, he became a firefighter in New York City and was part of the response team on 9/11s. Later, he helped commission the USS New York, which incorporated steel from the World Trade Center in its construction. Hearing his story added a deeply personal touch to my visit. In the end, the design of the San Antonio-class ships shows that the Navy values both the technology and the well-being of the sailors and Marines on board. Features like the easily operated watertight doors and beds designed for 90% of the crew demonstrate that attention to detail is just as important as advanced weaponry.